This beautiful body of water. Those of you who have a new book out, The Galilee Detective, flavors, sights, and stories from the land where Jesus walked. That looks amazing. This is the famous book, huh?
This is the famous and fascinating book in this little country, in this little area where Christianity began, where the Jewish people began. This is a letter from this book. Sea of Galilee, HaKineret. As we know, through the writings of the New Testament, Yeshua chose the Galilee. During the second temple, years. The miracle is ongoing till today. Let us dive into unique stories. The Sea of Galilee is both a unique and important body of water. It is the largest source of fresh water in the state of Israel, but also one of the lowest freshwater bodies in the entire world. What's incredible about this sea is that it has many layers to its story. It's spiritually significant. It's the place where much of the ministry of Jesus takes place, both around and even inside the lake itself. But it's also significant to the state of Israel as a modern country. The early settler communities, the Kibbutzim on the shores of the Galilee, used this water to feed their crops, to really establish the foothold of the young state on the shores of this very sea. And even today, with all the technology we have, this body of water is incredibly important both to the state of Israel and to the neighboring countries. So today we're diving deep into the story of the Sea of Galilee, this both spiritually significant and physically significant body of water. What began here? The Christianity began here, the Jewish revival movement. You make a very good point.
The Galilee is the real startup hub for this country. I think it's an incredible experience where someone gets today to get in a boat of similar size, similar dimensions, similar feel to the same boat that Jesus and the disciples and everyone who lived in that period would have used to trade, to fish, to travel.
The story's not over. I think about everything that's going on around here, and to me, that's a miracle.
I'm on my way to sail the Sea of Galilee with Chris Morales from Galilee Tours.
Chris, good to see you. Andy, welcome aboard, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Their wooden boats, reminiscent of those from the times of Jesus. Spirits of the
We are right in the middle of the Sea of Galilee, the northern portion of it, and it's a beautiful day, beautiful time of the year to be out on the water.
If you look at the Sea of Galilee from above, it is shaped like a harp. In Hebrew, the lake is called Kinneret, which means harp. From 30,000 feet down to water level, where are we and what is this place?
We're right here in the heart of the Middle East, and one thing that's interesting about the geography of this location, the Sea of Galilee is a part of what is the longest natural geological formation on planet Earth, the Great Syrian Rift. So it extends from Turkey all the way down to Mozambique in Africa. This is the lowest freshwater lake on Earth. It's about 700 feet below sea level. And it is a small, relatively small lake. It's only about 13 miles at its longest point and about 7 or 8 miles at its widest point. And it's also relatively shallow, about 150 feet at its lowest point. And of course, when we think about the Sea of Galilee, we think about the New Testament, we think about the storms. And one of the beautiful things about the geography here is that the storms typically come from the west and move to the east. And so you have all of this elevation here. When thunderstorms come and they lose that elevation. They lose some of the support that actually allows them to have
dissipate, right?
Exactly. So they dissipate. When a thunderstorm dissipates, it dumps not only rain but wind. Because the body of water here in the Galilee is so shallow, it's easier to whip up high waves in a shallow body of water than it is in a very deep body of water. So it fits perfectly to create these waves and these storms that are dangerous and hazardous to life of the disciples, for example, on a boat. Fits with the scriptures. It's like a glove.
It's no surprise that the Sea of Galilee draws about 1 million visitors every year.
Well, the beautiful thing is that everybody's expecting something a little bit different when they come. And the Galilee provides us with more than enough stories. But most of the people that come, they want to experience what the Galilee was like when Jesus was here in the first century. 70-75% of the events in the gospel took place right here between En-Gev on the other side and Tiberias right behind us.
What would be the top highlights of seeing on the shores of the Galilee?
If we were to start over here in this direction, we have Magdala, which is a relatively newer discovery, 2009, obviously associated with Mary Magdala. Then if you're going to go on and pan towards the northeast, you have the Beatitudes, the traditional site of the Sermon on the Mount. And then kind of continuing on, you have Capernaum, the headquarters of Jesus' ministry. Jesus preached the bread of life message at the synagogue there in John chapter 6. And then you go over to where the Jordan River comes into the north, and that's where Bethsaida, the hometown of Peter, Andrew, and Philip. So 3 of the 12 disciples were all there. And then you go over to the other side, and you have Corsi, and then you have Susita or Hippos, which was one of the Decapolis cities. A lot of times the most common response that I get when people come and experience this ride on a boat in the Galilee, they say, wow, I didn't imagine that I'd be able to see all of these locations from one spot. All 55 kilometers that go around the Sea of Galilee, you can see that right here from this boat.
Another breathtaking sight, visible from above, is the vibrant greenery of the kibbutzim surrounding the lake. These Jewish agricultural communities, established as early as 1900, continue to thrive to this day.
The oldest kibbutz in Israel is on the very southern shore of the Sea of Galilee, Kibbutz Degania, in 1910. And so that kind of started it all. So from then you have several kibbutzim that survived during the pre-State of Israel conditions, that survived that period between the War of Independence and the founding of the state and the Six-Day War. You know, you have Kibbutz Haon and Kibbutz En-Gev that were
shells for decades.
Exactly. So, and they survived, and they were attacked, and they built a story. Israel, the story of the people, did not end when the Gospels ended.
One of the greatest modern is the story that in 1986, the late some kind of revelation through